Hello my dear friends, welcome on and all for this audit lecture. So we are here to discuss chapter 2 audit strategy planning and program. This actually carries around 8 marks for your exam. I have compiled around some 20 questions from past question papers, RTPs and mock test papers. This 20 question actually covers all the concept from your material, institute material. So I went through up and down of the institute material, and what I just done is I removed the heading and I replaced the question, exam questions and RTP questions. So it'd be very easy for you to approach for exam. So it is better to study in question answer format. So we go through the lecture and we will discuss question one by one, all the 20 questions, friends. So the first question we go here is audit plan. So anything we do before, we should plan well in order to execute it well. So likewise, audit should also be planned. So the coverage that should be done for audit plan is the following 4 aspects. So the first thing is regarding the knowledge of the client business. Knowledge of client business is the most important aspect. So knowledge of the accounting system, how do they account entry flows, and then the business policies of our client. The business policy, which means the mission, vision of the clients, which will help an extent. Then internal control procedure. How do they place the control to safeguard their asset? That is also one of the important aspect. So the second point is the degree the reliance auditor can rely on internal control. The extent auditor can rely on internal control, he can reduce his substantive procedure. And the third aspect auditor should plan is audit procedure. Audit procedure is inspection, inquiry, verifications, that and all he has to plan before and instruct his instruct his audit assistants so that they can execute it well. And the fourth thing is teamwork. As I've mentioned, the auditor alone is not going to audit. He has to audit with his partners, like joint audits. Then he has to manage his own articled assistants. Then review has to be taken place. So many aspects auditor to take care of. So these are all things he has to consider in audit plan. So you can just revise this question in the material I have given. You can download that material in the description box, and we move on to next question. The second question we are going to move on is benefits of adequate planning. So here we are going to read the question I have given. It's RTP May 18 question, and you can understand how complicated the exam questions are being asked. So we'll read the question and we'll understand. Surya Limited is a manufacturing company engaged in production of miscellaneous electrical goods. Trichan & Co has been appointed as auditors to carry out its audit. Auditor thinks that planning an audit would involve establishing an overall audit strategy for the engagement and developing an audit plan. Also, adequate planning benefits the auditor, the audit of financial statement in several ways. Analyze and advise explaining the benefit of adequate planning. So when you read the first 3 lines of the question, you could mislead us, this is a company's audit question. No, you should read the question fully in order to understand what is being asked. So the question is the last 2 lines. Analyze and advise explaining the benefits of adequate planning is the question. So we will analyze and explain what is the benefits of adequate planning. So the first thing is attention. An auditor can place his attention to an important area. The auditor has to verify so many things, and if he has properly planned, he will get enough time to verify the important areas. And the second benefit is that he can timely identify the potential problems. And the third is that he can be organized. In order to verify so many items and manage teams, he has to be organized. He cannot be entangled by single work, because he will have so many clients, so many works for a particular client. So he has to be organized. Planning helps him to be organized. And the third is team, engagement team. Auditor has to properly assign what work can be performed by which person. Everybody cannot perform every work efficiently. So auditor job is that he has to assign his work so that who will perform so efficiently and quickly. And regarding he has to supervise also. That is the next point. So last point is that coordination. When we take a bigger companies like example Reliance Industries, Tata Industries and all, there will be so many branches, there will be so many subsidiaries, components. That thing is called components. So main auditor or statutory auditor has to communicate with the subsidiaries and branches auditor, has to consolidate their report. So that coordination can be properly done. We will go on to next question. Now we move on to our next question, overall audit strategy, how it assists the auditor. We have seen audit planning. Here, overall audit strategy is more bigger term than audit planning. As per the definition, overall audit strategy sets the scope, timing and direction of the audit and guides the development of more detailed plan. So first, auditor has to think of the strategy, how to do the audit, then he has to plan accordingly. Here the assistance given by the audit strategy is 4 points, majorly of resources, speaks about the resources only. So the first point is resources to be deployed to specific audit. For example, bigger complicated audit requires an experienced team members to be performed. So the correct resources, correct person to be allocated to correct audit. So that is the auditor's role, and this is answered by the strategy. And the second point, the amount of resources that could be allocated to each audit. Everybody's resources is limited only. We cannot waste the resources like articled assistants or paid persons or chartered accountants who are in employment. Auditor has to plan their allocation to each audit. And the third point is that when these resources are being deployed. For example, when we go for a listed companies audit or bigger public companies audit, we go for limited reviews. So audit are being done at the middle of the financial year is limited review, and some smaller clients we do at the end of the year. So likewise, when we have to deploy the resources for our audit. And the final point is how such resources are being managed or supervised. We go for a review to our seniors report to our chartered accountant or principal, or we directly report to our principal, likewise. So we go on to next question. So we are moving on to our next question, factors considered while developing overall audit strategy. There are 4 points auditor should consider to develop his audit strategy. The first and foremost is characteristics of the engagement. The characteristics of the engagement means the kinds of audit the auditor is going to carry out. For example, statutory audit mandated by Companies Act, or it is tax audit, or it is internal audit, maybe due diligence audit. Those kinds of audit now we will be studying further. For just an idea, I am saying the characteristics of audit. Based on the kind of audit only, he can determine how he is going to audit. And the second and very important point is that who the auditor is going to report. Based on the reporting objectives only, he can decide which areas are to be covered. For example, when there is a company audit, it is a listed company, the auditor has to keep in mind what the shareholders of the company, equity shareholders or preference shareholders, would be considered, would be seeing particularly in his audit report. That aspects he should be covering very well. And the next point is preliminary engagement activities. Preliminary engagement activities basically covers assessing the ethical requirements of audit, whether for example the independence of the auditor, like that. Auditor has to get an understanding of terms of the engagement. So what is the terms and condition he has entered into the appointing authority. So that aspect is being covered in preliminary engagement activities. And the next is nature, timing, extent of resources. Of course, last question we have spoken so elaborately about the resources. Auditor has to think of the resources to be appointed to develop the strategy even. Now we move on to our next question, the relationship between overall audit strategy and audit plan. This thing already we have discussed. Since this is a study material question, I have specifically covered this. So first, overall audit strategy will be formed, then to execute that, plans will be performed. This may not be in a sequential fashion. Please understand this. This is important for your MCQ also. This may not be in sequence. Audit strategy will be formed first, then plan will be done. When there is change in one thing, definitely there will be change in other thing also. So it is important for your MCQ. Read this question well. This is study material question. So we go on to next question. Our next question, its planning is not a discrete phase of an audit, but rather it is a continuous and iterative process. Analyze and explain. This is a little bit tricky question. We should study well this question. So as per SI 300, this statement is given. So which means planning is not a discrete one. It will not end somewhere, and it is a continuous process. We have to plan everywhere what to do next, what to do now, what to do in this situation. So planning is a part of our audit. It's not going to end somewhere. It's not a phased approach. So I can give you an example. It's given here that planning begin after completion of previous audit. So after previous audit, there is some amendment, let's consider. So at the time of release of the amendment in Companies Act or Income Tax Act, that time itself we would plan that this, for this client, this amendment is applicable. So we have to do like this. We have to do this audit procedure. So we would plan at that point of time itself, shortly after the completion of the previous audit. And of course it continues till the completion of the audit. So we go to next point. Planning, however, includes considering certain audit procedure to be completed prior to performance of further audit procedure. This further audit procedure means inspection, inquiry, recalculation, re-performance of the procedures. So that core aspects is further audit procedure that we will be studying in standards on audit very detailedly. For now, you develop an understanding that some audit procedure we are going to do before main audit procedure. To that understanding you should have. Here to explain further, institute material has given an example. Prior to identification of risk of material misstatement, or you can consider there is some material mistakes, very important aspect has been mistaken. So to verify that, what we have to do is do analytical procedure. This is one of the audit procedure. Analytical procedure is one of the audit procedure before main audit procedure. Okay. For example, I can give you what is analytical procedure is. Let's consider an amount of salary, total amount of salary. How to analytically arrive the salary means find the number of employee and monthly salary, that multiplied by 12 months and that multiplied by number of employees. That will give the total amount of salary. So which can be compared to the amount which is stated in the profit and loss account, will give you some matching. If there is any misstatement, we can arrive by analytical procedure. Okay. So next point is regulatory framework applicable. We should very well study the regulatory framework. For example, labor law itself, it is there. And next point is determination of materiality. What is the material item which we have to verify? What is the most important item we have to verify? Then regarding involvement of expert, whether to ensure this correctness, this assertion's correctness, whether we have to involve an expert understanding and get expert report. So these are the 4 points which we have to do before going into main audit procedure, that is further audit procedure. Okay. So we go on to next question. So here we go to our next question. It's 9th question. So read the question properly, then resume the lecture, and we can discuss. Here I'm explaining the question. So somebody called W is the auditor of SKM Limited. He has formed the for forming the overall audit plan and audit strategy. He has discussed with finance head of the company. That has compromised the audit effectiveness, because he has discussed all the audit plan, all the strategy. This is what I'm going to do the next. So he has said all the plan to the management itself. So that will definitely affect the quality of the audit. So whether his approach is right is the question. So the answer is, auditor is solely responsible to form the overall audit strategy and audit plan. He may discuss to management, but definitely he cannot make to undermine the quality of audit engagement. He can discuss some aspects like planning and availability of the labor for helping him, like those small aspect he can discuss, but not entire audit plan. And the second part of question, if you see question 9, the second part, involvement of entity person is necessary for effective development of audit plan. That thing we have discussed. Second part, do auditor shall consult any other person? This is second part. Yes, of course he has to consult some other person. Who are all they? Engagement partner. Engagement partner means the partner. For in case of joint audit, some part of audit being carried by engagement partner and his key team member. So these two people can be discuss the plans so that it will increase the effectiveness, not the management. Yes. So I'll go to next question. So here we go, the next question. Update and change the overall audit strategy and audit plan. As a result of unexpected events, the unexpected events may be like a big theft has been happened during the year, the auditor found out while auditing, or change of audit evidence, that information differ from at planning stage. If this information, for example unexpected event or changes in audit evidence, is available during the planning stage itself, the auditor would have planned his audit procedures differently. In that case, the auditor can change his strategy and planning according to the new information available. This is the must requirement that auditor should do. Then Institute has given an example for this audit evidence. So here the auditor has verified the controls, internal controls of the company, and subsequently while doing substantive procedures, he found out that the control procedure has failed. So here I can connect with an example. The internal control of the company to issue cash for expenses by the cashier is that cashier should sign the voucher, and the voucher should also be signed by the finance manager. But here auditor found, while substantive audit procedure verification of vouchers, he found that finance manager authorization signature is not there. Then he can raise the question why he has not signed. Then he can revise his plan and strategy to find out what are all flaws are there in internal control like this. Okay, here we go the next question. Our next question is, to which extent auditor can supervise, review the engagement team. The supervision and review is generally based on 4 factors. The first factor is the size and complexity of the entity. The larger clients, it should be better if the auditor get a review of the work done because of the complexity and size of the work being done. And the second factor is that area of audit. So I can give you an example. A partnership firm of auditors, there would be 3 or 4 partners. One of them would be expert in handling company affairs, and other would be expert in income tax, and other would be expert in indirect taxes. So in that case, which audit, based on the audit, they will be supervising and reviewing the work being performed, the particular auditor concerning the expertise. And next is regarding audit risk. I have given you a formula there. Audit risk is equal to IR, CR and DR. Don't worry, what is this? IR is inherent risk, CR is control risk, DR is deduction risk. So these things we will be studying in standard zone audit. But for now, just have an understanding. Supervision and review shall also be based on the risk. If there is great risk, it is better to be get reviewed. And the final factor is the competency of the team. When the team who is performing the audit is wholly competent enough, the auditor may reduce his review and supervision. Friends, till this point of time we have seen overall audit strategy, audit planning, changes made to them. Now we are going to see documenting all these 3. So this documenting overall audit strategy provides the auditor what we have done at planning stage and key decisions being made. It also serves the auditor that any communication being made between the engagement team also been recorded. This can be used for future reference. And next thing is documenting the audit plan. So this is the record of audit procedure being planned based on the assessed risk. So what is this assessed risk term and all, we will be studying in standards on audit. For now, for this chapter, you just understand that some risk is first assessed, then audit procedures will be documented. Then this documented audit procedures will be reviewed before it is performed. Then regarding the changes being made to them will also be recorded. This documents that why the changes being made to audit strategy and audit plan. Friends, here we go a new concept called audit program. Audit program, when you go into an outdoor audit, or when you commence an audit, you will be given what to be done in this audit. That is audit program. So as per definition, this is a series of verification procedures on financial statement. So what to be verified, how it should be verified, that steps will be given. Then why? Because we should get sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Why should we get evidence? To form an opinion. So this is the objective of audit, to form an opinion and report it to the appointing authority. Then one audit program is not suitable for all the entity. This is an important exam question. Why is not suitable? Because varied size, nature and composition of business. The business is not in same size, business is not in same industry, and it does not have same composition like shareholders and management team. So the next reason is that internal control. The operating efficiency and reliability of internal control definitely affects the audit. Why? Because the extent auditor can place reliance on internal control, he can reduce his substantive procedure, that is verification of details like vouching verification. He can reduce that, which saves the constructive time. Then our nature of service rendered to the client. As I already have mentioned, there are many types of audit and each should have program, but the objective of the audit varies, the appointing authority varies, and of course the audit program also varies. That is why we cannot have same audit program for all the audits. Our next question is development of audit program. The point should be considered by the auditor while developing the audit program. The first is reliance on internal control. Some reliance on internal control will definitely reduce the substantive procedure, but it's up to the auditor whether to rely or not. When an evidence is available from some other sources that is easily obtainable, then the auditor has the option that he may or may not rely. Second point is timing of audit procedure. The auditor usually has the flexibility to perform audit procedure when he wants, but on two cases the audit procedure has to be performed then and there. Audit procedure includes verification of inventory at the cutoff date. See, when the year end, the auditor has to verify or attend the verification of inventory counting. That is one, and the second is verification of security and cash balance. That can be done at the year end. And the third is audit planning. We have already done this in 8th question. We have seen that audit is not a discrete phase, it is a continuous phase. It commences shortly after the ending of previous year audit. So that point you can write for this. Then next point is write audit program. The auditor shall prepare the audit program, setting the procedures that are needed to implement the audit plan. So in simple terms, audit program is the implementation of audit planning. What to be done, what procedure to be done, how it is to be done will be recorded in audit program, and finally it will be given to you, audit assistants. It will be executed by the audit assistants. Then the program may contain the audit objective for each area. This statement means there will be objective of why do you perform this audit procedure mentioned in audit program. One, what is to be achieved while performing this. This also will be explained to you while principal gives you audit program. Our next question is that while writing the audit program, what are all things auditor should kept in his mind? First one is the auditor should stay within the scope and limitation of the appointment. What is the purpose of the audit and what are the limitations imposed? That should be clearly keep in his mind before drafting the audit program. And the second one, to obtain the evidence. There may be alternatives to obtain the evidence, but auditor should choose the best evidence. And the third is he should restrict only to the procedures which help him to obtain audit evidence for the audit purpose verification. Only that steps he should follow, not the other things while drafting the audit program. And while drafting audit program itself, he should ensure that what are all the areas which is vulnerable to errors. He should think of and include that specific areas in his audit program so that that could be easily found out. Question is advantages of audit program. The first three advantages is regarding the articled assistants. So using the program, auditor can select the capable assistants for the job. Then the audit assistants doing the work can have a clear instruction what are all to be executed. When they sign the audit program document, they agree the responsibility to carry out the instructions given in the audit program. The principal can have control of the various audit in hand. Also, they can track the unfinished business. That is, the work is yet to be performed. When you go for weekly review or 15 days once review, they will accumulate what all the work is yet to be performed and they will have a control on it. Next, it's always dangerous to have only mental plan. A plan should be always be documented, then it can be performed very nicely. But when we have mental plan, there is always a danger that we may ignore some procedure like books and records. So the next is that it always serves as the evidence that auditor has performed his professional duty with reasonable care. When there is a charge of negligence against the auditor, he can easily prove based on the showing the documented audit program that these are all the things I have done. There is no negligence on my part. He can show. So this is very important document. And finally, it also helps for as a reference for succeeding years. So next question is disadvantages of audit program. Everything has advantages and disadvantages, and similarly audit program also has some disadvantages. We'll look into it. The first thing is that some inefficient assistants may take shelter behind the audit program, that if there is any inefficiency found that by the auditor, then he may say these things are all not given in audit program. I have executed whatever given there. They will not assume the responsibility. The second is that exactly opposite. Some intelligent assistants may think beyond the audit program, but the hard audit program that is to be followed will not allow him to go beyond that. And the third is that he cannot think beyond that, the audit program. It will allow only to execute the program mechanically. Same routine is being followed again. When there is a change in business every time, but same old audit program when followed for so many years, that the audit will not be effective. So our next question is reviewing the audit program. Like overall audit strategy and audit plan has been updated for changes, the audit program also to be reviewed then and there. If it is not reviewed now, the business policy changed by the client will not be known. As a result, the audit program becomes obsolete. It becomes outdated, and also that will lead to legal consequences like charge of negligence. So business policy means vision, mission, strategy, objective, goals, then also internal control. Business policy covers all these aspects. So one of the case mentioned in our book is that Pacific Acceptance Corporation Limited case law. What particularly happened in that case was the auditor has audited the client based on understanding that the previous year policy is continuing this year also. The previous year policy was to finance the vehicle. The company was issuing vehicle loans to their customers, but from the audit year beginning, it has started to financing real estate sector instead of vehicle. Without knowing the fact, the auditor has conducted an audit. The case was being filed. The court declared that the entire audit is a waste. So see the impact. So the audit program shall be reviewed then and there. Finally, we came to the end, students. So thank you so much for listening. And as I told, this chapter carries 8 marks, and please read this 20 questions. Materiality I will deal in essay 320. I will post you in few days those videos. Please update me any improvement suggestions, and please be in touch. I will open a Telegram group. Please join in that, and you can ask me any doubt regarding audit or even other subjects also. I can get back to you within short span of time, so that you could continue your studies. This is CA Dinesh Kumar M signing off. Thank you.